Well, I'm joined now from Barton Moss by the anti-fracking protester Vanessa Vine, and the Conservative MP Peter Lilley is here. He's on the Energy Committee in Parliament and also on the board of Tethys Petroleum, which operates in Kazakhstan and Tajikistan. Peter Lilley, why is Vanessa Vine wrong?
Because this is a technique which has been examined by the Royal Society of Science, the Royal Academy of Engineering, and they said very emphatically that any problems of environment, safety and health can be satisfactorily managed in this country, as we have done over 60 years with the oil and gas industry. We've already, although nobody seems to realise it, drilled 200 wells in this country which have required fracking, no problems. 2 million wells worldwide. Not a single person has been poisoned by contaminated groundwater. Not a single building has been damaged by earthquakes, or so-called earthquakes, these minuscule tremors, which are about the same as are caused by a heavy lorry going over a bump in the road outside your house. So there isn't a problem, other than the concern of these people to stop us using any form of fossil fuels, and therefore they invent and exaggerate fears.
Vanessa Vine, answer that.
Mr. Lilley, you are at best negligent. We have a letter from DEC. There has been one high-volume hydraulic fracturing operation in this country, and it caused earthquakes. It cracked a house. It had people waking up in the night. 80 people have reported damage from it. That was in Lancashire in 2011. It has happened once. You are not speaking the truth, sir. I spoke to you on 5 Live in September, and you were coming out with the same nonsense. This is a novel technology. Many people have been poisoned. There are more than 2,500 families in Pennsylvania, and they're just the ones who've dared speak out, detailing the asthmas, the cancers, the silicosis in the frack field workers' lungs, the spontaneous abortions in their livestock, and in Queensland, Australia, with the coal seam gas, coal bed methane industry, the same. Grandparents speaking out in desperate situation about their grandchildren, the state that they are in and the things that are going on. How dare you lie on live television to the people here? This will not bring down energy bills. All the credible analysts have said that. It will not be an employment
Let me
panacea.
put that to Peter Lilley, because lying is quite a charge. Are you lying? I mean, you say 200, she says what?
Well, there was one in Morecambe, but there have been lots of others over the country, over years.
Sir, it was in Lancashire.
Just let me finish for a second. I'll come back to you in a minute.
There was an oil well in Morecambe. You're absolutely right. It was in the shale up in Lancashire. There's been one there, but there have been 200 across the country. She accuses me of lying. Fair enough. I'm used to that sort of abuse, though people who resort to that sort of abuse should be viewed with suspicion. Is she accusing the Royal Society of lying? The Royal Academy of Engineering of lying?
All right, just answer that one, Vanessa Vine.
No,
the Royal Academy and the Royal Society?
No, I'm not. That's not what I said. I said that Mr. Lilley is lying when he says there had been 200 fracks across the country and nobody's noticed, and we've been doing this for decades. I have a letter from the Department of Energy and Climate Change. It happened once. He didn't even know where it was. When I spoke to him in September, we'd been drilling in Vulcan for 3 weeks and he didn't know.
Just come to his point about what the Royal Society and the Royal Academy have said. Do you accept his description of what they have said in terms of there being no risk that can't be satisfied?
No. No. As a layperson who lives 4 miles from a potential site in Vulcan, who's been researching this for 2.5 years, who've been speaking to people in Pennsylvania, in Queensland, in Poland, in Romania, all over the world, people who are daring to speak out, despite signing non-disclosure agreements, about the terrible harm, the water pollution, the air pollution, the seismic activity that is triggered. This is proven fact. And Mr. Lilley, if he is empowered as a minister and one of only 3 ministers who voted against the Climate Change Act. This is what we have here, sir. This is what we're dealing with. And shame on you. You are Peter
Lilley.
The real reason that people like this lady want to stop the development of shale gas is that they want all fossil fuels to remain in the ground for environmental reasons. That's a view I respect. But inventing or exaggerating or gathering together every kind of allegation for every disease, from abortion in animals to, I forget all the others, and saying that they're the result of fracking is just absurd. Why would the Royal Society and the Royal Academy come up with a different
I think it's fair to say the two of you are not going to agree on the harm question, if you like, or the evidence either. But let's come to the question of fossil fuels. I mean, it is, you know, undoubtedly the case that if you continue to burn fossil fuels, you continue to have a problem with climate change. Shouldn't we be moving, Peter Lilley, to more renewables and less gas, regardless of how you get it and regardless of what the cost is?
The the government has said that on their central estimate, by the year 2030, we'll be using more gas than we are now. It's better that it comes from this country and creates jobs and opportunities and wealth and tax revenues in this country than we import it from Norway and the USSR.
Even though your committee said we can't be sure it'll be cheaper.
Russia.
Even though your committee said we can't be sure it'll be cheaper.
Oh, I'm not sure it'll be cheaper, but it'll either be cheaper, or if the price remains high at the European level, the tax revenues accruing to the Treasury will be enormous and will enable us to reduce other costs.
Vanessa Vine, I mean, the Americans describe this as a transition between our fossil fuel economy and the renewable future. Do you not accept any of that?
Of course not. Our ministers are saying the same thing. Mr. Lilly is vice chair of Tethys Petroleum. He is personally invested in this industry, as are many of our ministers who are saying it's a bridging fuel. So long as we keep taking this stuff out of the ground by increasingly dangerous methods, we are not going to reinvest thoroughly in a proper, safe, renewable energy infrastructure that will give us lasting, safe jobs, that will give us the energy security he's talking about. So long as we keep doing this, we are not going to do that. Any fool can see that. It is just absurd. I'm not arguing. Just compare the vested interests. Anybody listening to this, I'm a mother who lives in Sussex. I earn not a penny from doing this. I've just driven for 5 hours to support the people here because they're on the front line and they're being beaten up by the police. The police take an oath to protect life and property. They are being instructed to force through corporate ecocide. Something is very, very wrong here. France has banned this technology and we're inviting France to come here.
We've seen no evidence of the police beating anyone up today, so we're going to have to leave that one hanging. If it is on film, then I'm sure we'll see it. But thank you very much indeed for joining us tonight. And Peter Lilly, thank you for coming in.
Given that I've been accused both of dishonesty and having vested interests, neither of which are true, I have no vested interest in the oil industry in this country. My only vested interest is in the 70,000 constituents of mine who want either lower energy bills or higher tax revenues to the Treasury, which will enable them to reduce their own taxes.
Peter Lilly, thank you. Vanessa Vine, thank you both very much indeed.